starting on the construction aspect of this project, it took us 7 months start to finish. Everything went really fast in the very beginning. Honestly, we didn't have any major issues. The only kind of issues we had were 2 break-ins, which are pretty typical in the area. When thieves know there's a lot of construction going on, they just go from job to job and they know where you're at. We did have some issues in the primary bathroom with the width of the shower. And the way that we solved that problem was we gained a little bit of square footage from the walk-in closet that was right behind the shower wall. We just bumped that out a little bit, gained that square footage, and we moved on. I was here day in, day out from start to finish, which I think was a big key because I got to see the project, got to see every little detail. I got to make adjustments when I needed to. So construction part went pretty smooth. The subfloor had some areas that had some rot to them. So what we did is we added 1/3 plywood to it to make it a more secure, because one thing you don't want is you want to build this brand new house, so to speak, and lay flooring down on an old subfloor that, you know, squeaks and is not secure enough. It's just not going to work out. So we spent some extra money to make sure that that was dialed in, which made a huge difference in the overall project and the way that the floors were. Part of the reason why the project ran really smooth is I hired an amazing contractor. He had a great team behind him. They were all super professional. Everybody worked very cohesive with each other. I met my contractor on Instagram, had him on my podcast. After my podcast, we had a conversation by phone. We ended up getting coffee together. I brought him to this house and walked him through it, you know, wanted to tell him kind of my vision in the very beginning. Then he's like, hey, I'm gonna bring in my designer. She's gonna help us kind of get this vision, you know, across the finish line. And she got to work, we showed her some ideas. She came back with some different things. We settled on this kitchen design, from the cabinets, the colors, the tile. It just started coming to life. However, you will have to make sure that your designer and your contractor work as a team. And sometimes designers and contractors don't. And that can cause issues on your project. For ours, they worked cohesively together. One of the designers actually met me at the property where I had to choose flooring, paint colors, tile, and she worked with me from the very beginning. And she asked me, what do you want to do on the exterior? And I said, the only thing I know is I don't want it to be a pure white exterior. I want it to have some type of depth, some tone to it, more on the creamier side. I want it to feel like it's different than all the white houses that I've been seeing in Willow Glen. And she was really excited about that part of it because she was tired of that type of color and, you know, that type of tone that's been popular. We wanted to go on depth, so we were on the same page there. There was a lot of decisions that still needed to be made. Even though I had the designer behind me, I still had to make some decisions, and they all have to come together, and it's almost like a puzzle. And you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna pick out this tile, you know, is it gonna go with that tone of the color that we chose? Or, you know, is the floor gonna flow good? You think it's all gonna go together, but until you start to see it kind of happening, you sometimes just don't know. Once we got the project done, the next big step on this project was to hire a stager. I knew that this house needed to have a certain look, a certain vibe to really pull everything off. And I interviewed 3 different stagers. Let's see how they react when they walk in to the front door. 2 of them were just kind of, they walked through, you know, not that they were bad, they had good ideas, but one in particular walked through and you could just tell in her eyes, she just loved it. So ended up hiring her, and that was probably one of the best decisions on this project. There's a lot of decisions you have to make, and a lot of these decisions will have different outcomes. And choosing her to stage it was definitely the right thing to do because she pulled off exactly the vibe of this house and then some. And it paid off when it came to getting our photos done, shooting videos, to doing the open houses and watching buyers come through, neighbors come through. Everybody absolutely loved it. One of the big things she said about this house was, you need to let the house speak for itself. She knew to just pull back from the staging and just let the house speak for itself. And that was huge. So the next step in this whole process was hiring our photographer. And that was another thing in itself. I wanted somebody that really could capture this house, the vibe, and really be able to make amazing photos. Because once you have the house done and you got the staging done, if you don't have a good photographer, everything can go sideways. And so my photographer, they're hungry, they're creative, and they definitely helped me get this project to come to life in photos and video. So once we got the photos done, we shot a bunch of videos, made a bunch of different content on the process along the way, to all the different things we could possibly put out, we did. And that was just kind of get it out there, get people to see it from start to finish. We did a lot of before and after videos, which a lot of people really liked. Seeing it from the very beginning and what it turned out to be were really fun to see people kind of DM me and on Instagram or Facebook just saying, oh, the transformation was amazing. This project probably would have never happened if it wasn't for the past seller who reached out to me on Facebook from a 1-minute video that I put out about property management. She called me up and she said, hey, I got this house in Willow Glen that I inherited. You know, I have tenants in there. I don't really know if I really want to be a landlord anymore. You know, wanted to know if there's any type of options. I gave her a few options and she took the option of selling the house, becoming an investor, being a passive investor in the Glen Una project. She got to learn how to do construction and how to flip a house. She bought 2 properties herself. She was able to watch the revival of her childhood home from start to finish. And that was pretty amazing to watch her go through that. It was just great to watch her learn this whole process. It was really neat. And she still thinks that she has a lot to learn, which she does, but she learned a ton along the way. And I was very happy for her making that decision for her and being a part of this project. It was really neat.